This is my last chance
to show everybody how Nerd Nation does it.
Show the nation that we can go 40-0.
We have a chance to make history.
This year is special because I get to play with my big sisters.
This is my chance to go out with a bang.
This is the stage where big players make big plays.
The most dangerous thing about Baylor is their 6'8" center.
We're loaded at every position.
I think it's going to be a battle of some great players.
To win a national championship, I have to bring intensity on both sides of the court.
I have to dominate in the paint.
I have to be a leader. Stanford basketball is together.
Sisterhood permeates our team.
A bunch of warriors.
We all have each other's back no matter what.
To play tough and together.
This is our chance to shine.
I think all the pressure is on them, and I think that's the best time to strike. This is our chance. I mean, why not us? Why not Stanford?
Our team motto is unfinished business.
Our team motto is whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Our team motto
is unfinished business.
Unfinished business.
Whatever it takes.
We welcome you to the NCAA Women's Championship presented by Capital One. And from Denver, Colorado tonight, it's our second national semifinal, a matchup of the #1 ranked team in America, the 38-0 Baylor Lady Bears, and the #2 ranked team, the Stanford Cardinal, who've lost just once all season long. Here's Brittany Griner dunking in warm-ups tonight and taking on a fellow All-American, Nneka Ogwumike. Game #1 went to Notre Dame in overtime, a thriller over Connecticut, 83-75. So we know half of our national championship matchup on Tuesday night. Welcome back to Denver, everybody. Great pleasure to be with you. I'm Dave O'Brien. My partner is the great Doris Burke. We'll also have Holly Rowe and Rebecca Lobo joining us in just a moment. Well, Baylor's trying to do something, Doris, that has never been done in the history of men's or women's basketball. A team winning a national championship going 40-0, but they can climb that mountain.
The question all season in women's college basketball simply has been, can anyone beat Baylor? They are 4-0 against the top 10, all outside of the Big 12. They have handled gracefully the pressure of being undefeated. Brittany Griner is the most dominant force in women's college basketball. Nothing would be better to cement her legacy than a national title.
They'll take us to the one-on-one in an outstanding All-America matchup. Two All-Americans have had spectacular careers.
Strength on strength in our post matchup. Brittany Griner has developed on the offensive end of the floor at 6'8". If she gets deep post position, look out. You've got to game plan for her on both ends. Now she can face up. She's an outstanding, willing, and gifted passer. She has asserted herself much more lately with the dunk, but looking opposite her is an athlete unlike maybe any she has ever seen. Nneka Ogwumike can create space with a reverse pivot, and these are the kinds of shots she's going to have to make, and these are the kinds of plays she's going to have to make. She will have to be faster to the ball. We know this. She's got a great ticker, and she ain't going away.
Stanford head coach Tara Vanderveer is the only one of the other three coaches who did not schedule Baylor during the regular season. She believes that element of surprise may help her tonight. Time for the Capital One. Meet the players. Here's the Stanford Cardinal.
Nneka Ogwumike, number 30, senior, and I can do a backflip.
Amber Ranch, number 33, freshman, and I am the daughter of a former Olympian.
Toni Kokenis, number 31, sophomore, and I'm in the Stanford band.
Chineo Goke, lucky number 13, sophomore, and I have two fish named Ren and Stimpy, but unfortunately, Stimpy just passed away.
Jocelyn Tinkle, number 44, junior, born in Stockholm, Sweden, and lived in Spain for 8 years.
Let's bring in Rebecca Lobo now. Rebecca, you know a thing or two about talented post players. Nobody influences a game more than the 6'8" shot-blocking Brittany Griner.
Well, Dave, Brittany Griner is the most dominant defensive force in the history of women's college basketball, and it's because of her size, her length, and her skill. At 6'8", she has a 7'4" wingspan. She's a shot-blocking machine. She can get her hand on a basketball that is 11 feet in the air. If her opponent wants to get off a shot, she has to start her shooting motion when Griner is 14 feet away. She's the ultimate rim defender, so Kim Mulkey wants to keep her in the lane. To do that, Griner and Destiny Williams have gone to switching defensively, which is what you will see here. When a post commits to going high and another low, Griner will take the low player, keeping her near the basket, defending the rim. But for more on Stanford, I'll send it over to Holly Rowe.
Stanford coach Tara Vanderveer told us today at shoot-around that she has watched almost every single Baylor game this year, and they are going to try to do something that no other defensive team tried against Baylor. She said they're calling it their 54 defense. No, it's not a defensive front like football. It's 5 Stanford players against 4 Baylor players. That means they are going to force Jordan Madden, the worst perimeter shooter for Baylor, to stay completely alone. They're going to put all of their attention on Brittany Griner with another double team. Jordan Madden shooting just 35% from the field, only 21% from the three-point line. They're going to let her try to beat him that way. Now let's check in with the Baylor Lady Bears.
Brittany Griner, number 42, junior, love the longboard, and I'm addicted to phone cases.
Odyssey Sims, number 0, sophomore, I love sneakers.
Jordan Madden, number 3, junior, I love to sleep and love to drink soda.
Whoa, baby.
Nene Hayden, number 1, junior, and I like to sleep.
Destiny Williams, number 10, junior, love video games and puppies.
And Baylor's head coach Kim Mulkey just selected as the AP Coach of the Year. She is battling Bell's palsy. She has Baylor poised to make history. She's won a national championship as a player and a gold medal as well. So it is certainly in her DNA to win and to dress. We are set for game 2. Game 1 was a dandy going to overtime. Notre Dame is in the final for the 2nd consecutive season. Tonight's officials, an outstanding crew. So great to have you with us from the Pepsi Center. Dave O'Brien, Doris Burke, Holly Rowe, and Rebecca Lobo. Baylor, the 8th undefeated team to enter the Final Four, and only Louisiana Tech in 1990 failed to win the national title. And Griner wins the opening tip. The Baylor Lady Bears in a white. We're underway. Stanford comes out in black. Madden on the drive, airborne, and banks in 2. Jordan Madden aggressive right away.
Well, all season long, and this is something that Kim Mulkey has preached to her team. Odyssey Sims and Brittany Griner will not win the national championship alone. It's those 3 other players on the floor that are important. So Madden doesn't shoot a perimeter jump shot like Stanford would like. She puts it on the deck and gets to the rack.
Kokenis tried to drive the lane. She was shut off. Shot clock down to 8. Now at 5, Kokenis wants the follow away and hits it.
The guards for Stanford are different than the guards that played there a year ago. You think about Jeanette Poland and Kayla Peterson. They were outstanding, talented players. They do not have the speed that Orage and Kokenis bring.
Madden tempted to shoot, but can't get it. And here's Orage, the young point guard, just a freshman who has really had a fine tournament.
I wish I could say that with a French accent.
Orage. It really rolls off the tongue. Amber, a freshman from Houston, Texas. Boy, is that a talent-rich area for both men's and women's basketball. Janae Agumike back out to her sister. Shot clock again down to 7. Orage with a leaner. Can't get it to go. Rebound comes right back to her. Nobody boxed out for Baylor.
And Orage is a player who, in the regular season, averaged under 5 points per game. But her scoring has been on display in the postseason. She's doubled that. I think there will be times tonight where she must make shots.
She had 18 against West Virginia in a tournament win. The All-American Agumike. Tough shot. That won't fall. Now, she has played against Brittany Griner in AAU ball back in Texas when they were both a little bit younger. She said, all I remember is we lost and I shot a lot of three-pointers. Griner in close and draws the foul. First time tonight.
Well, you'd see what Stanford's strategy is. Jocelyn Tinkle is nowhere near the perimeter player she's checking. She is digging down from the perimeter, 1 in front, 1 behind Brittany Griner. The last thing you want to do, though, is commit the foul. Just make it a tough 2.
Foul went against Nneka Agumike, the 6'2 senior. She and her sister, both All-Americans, and Griner. This is an area of tremendous improvement since her freshman year, foul shooting.
I'm not sure there's a phase of the game where Brittany Griner hasn't improved. And I'll tell you where else she's changed. She's a freshman. She was somewhat reticent. We have a day where we interview all 5 starters and the coach. She came into our room like Fat Albert. Hey, hey, hey. It was great.
She has grown up in size. She didn't have to. 6'8".
In fact, her teammates started teasing her a little bit, and Coach Mulkey did as well, saying exactly that.
What a great talent. 23 points a game, 9 rebounds a game. Agumake with a miss, but Janae Agumake right back up and in.
Do you see what I mean? The point I made before this game was that the Agumakes will be faster to the ball rebounding than any opponent Brittany Griner has seen, and that's a case in point.
Griner with a touch, draws the double team. In and got it to go. She'll go to the line. The unanimous first-team All-American for a three-point play.
Well, Brittany Griner is a player who, this is the shoulder she most wanted to turn over early in her career. In fact, often the only shoulder she would turn over. Now she'll go over both, but this is what I like. There's a willingness to dominate now. There's an increasing comfort level in who she is as a player and a person. It's been an absolute pleasure for us to watch.
Janae Agumake with the foul. Brittany was a 68% foul shooter as a freshman. She's up to 80% as a junior. And on the bench, Nneka Agumake. That didn't take long. The All-American, the Pac-12 Player of the Year. Picked up one foul and went to the bench. Tinkle feeding Orange, a line driver, and it won't fall. Destiny Williams with the rebound. They want to run. Odyssey Sims, a spectacular guard. Airborne, no. Sims also an All-American. We have 4 of them on the floor here when Nneka is in the game. McKennis, just a sophomore, handling the point guard duties right now. Working on Madden on the drive. Janae Agumake. Booth, no. Got it back, though, on a high rebound.
Their post players can do that, though. Jocelyn Tinkle can step away. She's more like a 3, but their post players can step away and face.
Booth is 6'5", so additional size up against Griner. That one in and out by Orange.
And Holly Rowe at shoot-around this morning asked Coach Vanderveer, did she think Sarah Booth could play more minutes? And Tara had a little wry smile on her face, sort of acknowledging Holly's acumen, and said, yes, you might see that.
She averages 3 points a game. Destiny Williams, who gets 10 and 9, gives it up for Madden. She's traveling with it. So Baylor turns it over, leading by 3. Baylor in the Final Four for the second time in the last 3 years. And the third time overall. The closest anyone has come to upsetting Baylor lately was Texas A&M back in February. That was a 7-point win for the Lady Bears.
They had an 11-point deficit at home to UConn and went on to win that basketball game. But that was way back at the start of the year.
Kokenis with a shot clock to 10. Stanford's taking a lot of time to get a shot in the air over and over. Tinkle, his shot clock at 4. And that goes out of play. Didn't touch a thing. Stanford has started cold, 2 for 9 with Nneka Agumake on the bench in Denver.
And in part by Shell. No other gasoline protects engines better. And Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
Back in Denver, Baylor with a 7-4 lead on Stanford. Condoleezza Rice, former Secretary of State and Stanford professor, but battling celebrities. RG3, the Heisman Trophy winner, in the house as well. So this is getting serious. Condrey will fire it up there and hit the back of the iron.
And I like the strategy. All season long, you've been challenged around Sims and Griner. It is very difficult to consistently make jump shots when the stage is this big and the lights are this bright. That'll be an ongoing story in this game.
Nneka has returned for Stanford. On the court with her sister as well. Shot clock at 8. Orange trying to make a move to her right. Tosses it, and there's a foul in the lane as they try and tie up Nneka Agumake with 14:50 to go in the first half.
Well, they had a mismatch on the post. Odyssey Sims ended up on her. And Agumake is relentless in pursuing position. And again, this is the most dynamic tandem of forwards in the country with Nneka here and Chene, her sister. And they are highly, highly productive, both scoring and rebounding for this team.
Sims' first foul. Bonnie Samuelson, an outstanding three-point threat, a freshman at 6'3" in the game for the Cardinal. You wonder if the altitude had something to do with Nneka coming out early, but there's a strike for her.
Well, you're lifting the defense, okay? So Chene gets up to the free throw line. That lifts Brittany Griner, and the quickness to get the backdoor cut. That's perfectly executed.
Shot up and over the rim, and here comes Stanford trying to run. They have a 32-game winning streak coming into this national semifinal, which Baylor has not lost all year.
Tara Vanderveer said, we believe we can play with anyone in the country. We just want the chance. And guess what? They're comporting themselves like a team that believes they can compete with anybody in the country.
Well, Samuelson right off the bench for a two-pointer.
Condoleezza Rice, how about a little reaction there?
Here's Condrey, and that one catches a lot of iron and drops through for a three.
You play your percentages there, though, right? You're going to just keep giving those players those kinds of shots.
Well, she's played in all 4 tournament games, but only about 15 minutes a game. They don't expect a lot of scoring from Condrey. Samuelson, no this time. Griner with the rebound. Now, there have been a total of 14 undefeated champions in NCAA history. Of course, UConn's done it 4 times. 3 times going 39-0. The Tennessee women did it in '98. 4 times UCLA, the men, going undefeated for a national title. That's what Baylor's trying to do, trying to go to 40-0 and win it all.
That kind of play will help. And Nene Hayden, I think, is the best third scoring option to me. Good patience. She had big threes to start the regional final game.
Kokenis lines it up all net on a triple for Toni Kokenis.
A bit confident in their execution. Tara said that. She said, you know, I watched teams be able to execute against Stanford, against Baylor, and they've done that.
Griner on the high post, an excellent passer. Condrey open again, front rimmed it. She's cold. They're letting her shoot it, and it's paying off for Stanford. They're trying to jump into the lead. If you missed game 1, Notre Dame beat Connecticut in overtime. Nneka Ogwumike off target. And a rare quick shot for Stanford. They've been playing pretty deep into the shot clock. Maybe forcing Baylor to spend a lot of time play defense at this altitude and wear them down. Condrey again, and again misses.
Now, sometimes you have to say as a player, there's a reason I'm open, and why not keep working the shot? Make the next pass, Condrey. Just because you're open doesn't mean you should shoot it.
Ogwumike. Her sister on the high post. Nneka will shoot it. Griner went up for the rebound and tapped it.
They're going to have to make some of those, and that's something that's been on display in Nneka's game very late in her career, the ability to make the long-distance shot.
Boy, a lot of quick shots by the Lady Bears here. And they're not falling. Orange. That won't drop. Griner bats away the rebound and controls it.
Brittany Griner has taken 1 shot. Everybody in the white jerseys better start paying attention to the most dominant force in women's college. Can they deliver the ball? Stop shooting at her teammates. It's not your time. It's Brittany Griner time.
The AP Player of the Year.
Just because these players are open doesn't mean you shoot it.
Sims on the drive. Blocked from behind by Chene Ogwumike. Knocked it out of play. It'll be Baylor ball when we come back. And we'll see if Griner gets more touches when we come back.
Welcome back to Denver. Coach, you took Nneka Ogwumike out early. Was that due to that first foul?
That's a quick foul, which I didn't see, but, you know, just to give her a quick blow.
How do you like the comportment of your team so far?
I think people are taking a little too quick shots, but they're playing very confidently.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
Well, a couple of quick shots their last couple of possessions. Stanford hasn't turned it over in 9 minutes. So they're doing very well in that category.
I love their game plan. They are giving the players around Brittany Griner so much space. And they're basically saying, go ahead and beat me in a national semifinal to get to a national championship game. That will play with your mind as a player, okay? Now, look at this. Ogwumike's already taken 5 shots. The AP National Player of the Year has taken 1. Her teammates have taken 11. Can I please introduce you, Jordan Madden, Taryn Condrey, and Odyssey Sims, number 42.
I mean, in this tournament, she's averaging 24 points a game.
She shoots 61%. When you deliver the ball, you either foul her or she gets a basket.
So Odyssey Sims to get it in quickly. Here's Madden to lift, and another misfire. The rebound by Pope, so they'll get a new shot clock.
A lot of big bodies. Booth has got 5 fouls and a big body to bang. Look at all the action around Brittany Griner.
Both Griner and swatted away. Stanford with the stuff. And trying to grab the lead. They have 2 early blocks. Amazingly enough, none yet for Griner, but the expectations are so high. You expected to have 3 by now, which is completely out of line. LaRock off the bench. Boy, she's had a very difficult time shooting it. Just 25% from 3, and she's lost the starting spot.
Another quick shot there. I think she lost the starting spot because they needed Amber Orange to develop, and they needed her athleticism and speed. I thought it was the right decision in January to change it.
Sims jacks it up, no. And again, Griner doesn't touch it.
We played 10 minutes and she's taken 1 shot. That's a problem.
Nneka Ogwumike up top for Jocelyn Tinkle. 6'3", an excellent three-point shooter at 42%. Booth with a bounce. Shot clock at 4. So again, they're whittling it down. Kokenis barely nicking the iron. Madden. Well, they're daring them to shoot, aren't they? From the wing.
Look at the space. Look at the space they're giving them.
Madden with a 17-footer. That won't fall.
I told you, it starts to play with your mind. It becomes incredibly difficult unless you're very confident in your ability to make 15 to 18-foot jump shots to make it.
Baylor 4 for 16. Had missed their last 8. Griner will take one and knock it down.
See, I think it looked like Booth was fatigued. Griner can make that with great consistency. So I think Booth, was she a little bit tired because she did not get out and check that shot.
You know, we saw an interesting phenomenon here at this altitude in game 1. Players initially, after 3 or 4 minutes, getting winded. Tough catch and the basket by Nneka Ogwumike.
Another case where they lift Brittany Griner. Okay, it's a lift to Brittany Griner. The more you get her away from the rim, the better your opportunities to score. So look at Brittany Griner is checking Booth high. Ogwumike says, okay, I'm going to take you because I'm one of the best athletes in the country, and I'm going to negate the shot blocking abilities of Brittany Griner.
Pope with the foul. Ogwumike for a 3-point play does that. I'm not saying it's a phenomenon that players would get winded. Obviously, they do at this altitude.
Sure.
But once they come out of the game in return, they seem to have their wind again and are able to play for a long. There's an adjustment period.
Agreed. There's no question, and it can be just a momentary breather, Dave, that gets you back to where you need to be.
Stanford twice played at altitude. Colorado and Utah this season.
Did you see how high Nneka Ogwumike went up to get that rebound?
Tied at 14. Ogwumike averaging 10 rebounds a game. Her sister also averages 10. Back to Ogwumike for 2.
Again, I cannot preach it enough, folks. There's a reason Brittany Griner's up at the free throw line, and there's a reason Tara Vanderveer is in the Springfield Hall of Fame, folks. This is a great game plan. Not a good one, a great one.
The sisters getting together for the basket. Both of them making the All-America team, the Associated Press team. It's never been done by sisters before. And taken away by Chiney Ogwumike. So Stanford with the lead. They have forged in front by 2. And the theft by Hayden. Jumped out in front, Nene Hayden with 2.
Yeah, that's a great play. And listen, this is an outstanding Baylor field goal percentage defense team. She's upset with that.
Pass, what a give inside for Tinkle. Chiney Ogwumike with a couple of terrific assists.
Yeah, how about the length of the pass it has to cover and the angle of the pass. Very quietly, I said it on Selection Monday, very quietly lurking on the West Coast was a team that hadn't lost since November. Spent an entire season building their confidence.
They're daring Baylor to beat them outside. This time inside, Williams can't connect. And it is working for the Stanford Cardinal. They lead by 2 in our second national semifinal. Notre Dame defeating Connecticut in game 1 in overtime tonight. UConn had an opportunity to get a shot off in the closing seconds of regulation, but Tiffany Hayes gave up the ball, and then the clock expired.
Yes, surprising that she didn't try to put it on the rim to give 2 shots. Shot clock under duress here.
Down to 2. Kokenis got it in the air. Rebound comes out high.
That's twice now, where Baylor's just beaten to the basketball.
Tinkle launches an air ball. So Baylor with it. A quick moving first half. Look at the three-point shooting for Stanford. Only 1 make. Baylor just 1 for 3. Madden in the lane. The give for Williams, trying to wriggle free. Draws the foul as she hits the deck. She'll go to the line to shoot 2.
Nneka Ogwumike is as good an athlete as there is in the country. Folks, watch how high she gets up off the ground to go pursue this board. Go get it, Nneka. Then run the floor. Use that athleticism and speed to beat backdoor. Great play.
This is the stage where we show Stanford basketball to the whole country. To win a national championship, we have to focus, concentrate, and play for each other. This is my chance to go out with a bang.
Stanford by 2. Baylor's looking for Brittany Griner dunks. Let's go to Rebecca.
Well, Dave, Brittany Griner is a dominant force defensively in the paint, but Stanford has done a tremendous job getting her out of her comfort zone. Sarah Booth is a capable three-point shooter. Griner's defending her. She comes out. Griner's hands down defensively when she's playing out on the perimeter. Booth has the clear vision, can make those passes, and get it into Ogwumike.
Just lifting her to the free throw line. And she's got great ability to cover ground and create space. But you've got a speed and athleticism dynamic with Stanford in the forward positions in both Ogwumike's. And that's coming into play. I thought Stanford would be faster to the basketball.
Well, Williams makes 1 of 2 after the Tinkle foul. Under 6 minutes to go before halftime. 1-point game. Janae Ogwumike trying to get it across midcourt, zips it up to her sister.
And I like this from Baylor. Extend your pressure, try to make some things happen with your defense.
Backdoor cut. How about this play? Kokenis up and in for 2. Nneka Ogwumike with the assist.
All the backside help, not just Brittany Griner, but that's a play where everybody on the offensive end is above the free throw line. There is no help.
The All-Americans pushing and shoving. On the drive, Nene Hayden draws the foul. And a junior from Dallas will go to the line. The NCAA Women's Basketball Championship concludes Tuesday night on ESPN with the championship game. Coverage beginning at 7:30. Then at 8:30, Notre Dame takes on the winner of this one. The NCAA Women's Basketball title presented by Capital One on ESPN. Foul on Kokenis was her first. And Hayden drops in the first one. Well, this Skylar Diggins with 19 and played a marvelous second half along with Deb Peters doing some scouting on Stanford and Baylor. Who will they play on Tuesday?
Who do you think they're rooting for? Who do you think the guards from the Irish would rather drive against? Somebody from Stanford or somebody from Baylor? And I mean no disrespect to Stanford, but when you've got 6'8" and you're a driving guard, that changes the way you think.
Brittany Griner once blocked 14 shots in a game and averages 5 per contest. Number 2 shot blocker in the history of the NCAA. A theft here by Sims. Very quick. Great bounce pass. Laid up and in by Madden.
Yeah, Sims is, a driving force in terms of her personality. 117 steals coming into the year. She is a dynamic defender. And very often, a player who will impose her will on the defensive end.
Scored 27 points against Tennessee in the regional final as well. Baylor by 1.
You must be strong with the ball when Odyssey Sims is near you. She's got great strength and speed with her hands.
The kick out, Samuelson launches. Got it, a three-pointer for the freshman from Huntington Beach, California.
They're going to have to make some threes. Tara Vanderveer says, listen, we've got to make something out there. And Samuelson is one of their best shooters. And she needs space. You clearly can see because of her release point how long it takes her. They've got to give her room and rhythm.
She's made more than any Cardinal. Launching Madden on the other side, no, and the rebound tipped. It'll stay on this end. Off of Ogwumike. Off of Chiney. So Stanford leads by 2 down the stretch of the first half of the national semifinal.
Got these wristbands, and everybody wears them in practice everywhere we go. Last year, we didn't take care of our business, so this year's motto was unfinished business.
We haven't accomplished anything yet. Yeah, people say that we're undefeated, and can they finish? Well, we must finish now to reach the ultimate goal.
Their ultimate goal is 40-0. No one has ever done that. They've beaten up on ranked opponents. They've beaten up on everybody. They've held a double-digit lead at some point against 35 of 38 opponents. Let's go to Holly.
Well, Kim Mulkey in that last huddle is thinking about that unfinished business. She is pleading with her team to play for some energy. She said, who is this team out here? Come on now, I need to get some energy. I need a team on the floor that's willing to show me some energy. Oddly enough, though, Brittany Griner hasn't scored since the 9-minute mark, but she's not worried about that. She's drawn up plays. She asked Odyssey Sims to put it on the floor and try to get involved in this game.
Now she turns and fires and left it short. And commits a foul over the back. That's on Griner with 3:36 to go in a half.
You're looking at a Stanford team that has been to now its 5th straight Final Four. But for Tara Vanderveer, they have come under the weight of expectation in each of those 5 years. They were a legit national title threat. Nobody came here thinking that Stanford could win a national title. They are basically playing with house money. Even Tara Vanderveer told us at practice today, listen, I didn't know what to expect. I certainly didn't think losing Kayla Peterson and Jeanette Poland that we'd be where we are.
Orange line drives that one, but tipped out, I believe, by Madden of Baylor. And indeed, it'll be Stanford ball. 26th season for Tara Vanderveer. And Stanford into their 11th Final Four. Samuelson gets it in. And difficulty on the exchange. It'll go the other way. They turn it over. Hey, tomorrow night, Kentucky and Kansas will square off in the NCAA Men's Basketball National Championship game. Coverage on CBS begins at 9 o'clock Eastern Time.
But 2 Titans. 2 big-time Titans. It's just been so much fun to watch Anthony Davis play basketball.
Well, he's a special player, the player of the year. We have Brittany Griner in our game, player of the year as well. But there's a nice touch, feathery touch by Destiny Williams. And that ties the game at 23. Williams, a junior. Big-time screen. Janaea Gwumike can do some things for you, and her sister goes up high for the pass here.
They've been successful with the screen and roll, something that's new to their arsenal because of a change in personnel.
Kokenis bounces. Ogwumike sails that one over. Nneka Ogwumike battling for the rebound, and it'll go the other way.
Those are opportunities that Nneka rarely misses. She is so fast to the basketball, an explosive leaper, as good an athlete as you'll find in the definitive #1 pick in the upcoming WNBA draft.
And she's had a brilliant tournament, her last NCAA tournament, scoring 28, 39, 29 in 3 of the games. They leave Madden open again, and once more they can't cash in. Griner up there for the rebound. No on the follow. Mulkey wanted a foul in the worst way on her sideline. Tied at 23, under 2 before halftime. Notre Dame has played their way into their 2nd consecutive national championship game. They knocked off UConn in overtime in game 1. Kokenis trying to penetrate. The dish, Orange outside. Stolen away by Sims with the quick hands. She'll go 1-on-2, splits the defenders and lays it in.
We wondered, we thought this would be an incredible matchup. Orange versus Sims. Sims is an extremely confident player and one of the outstanding defenders at the lead guard spot. You better not be casual with the ball when Odyssey Sims is on the floor. She will take you on a journey you do not want to go on.
She plays bigger in big games in her career. Janaea Gwumike off to Kokenis. The feed tipped away. Out off Baylor with 1:01 left before halftime.
See, as dominant as Brittany Griner is, I think this team, and I'll use the terminology of young people, they get their swag, Baylor. They get their swag from Odyssey Sims.
Timeout. Baylor up by 2, and Sims has gotten them there.
Why are they one of the better defensive teams in the country? It all starts at the point of attack. Odyssey Sims or Raj telegraphed that. She might as well have been a quarterback looking at the target the entire development of the play. And Sims said, yeah, let's go, everybody. I'm here to play.
Odyssey Sims against the 11 ranked opponents that Baylor has played is averaging 21 points a game. Of course, they have a great Heisman winner in the crowd tonight to cheer them on. And coming up on the Home Depot halftime report with Trey Cara and the coach, Muffin McGraw, will be live on the set to talk about Notre Dame's terrific win in overtime against the Huskies. And we'll break down the first half. That's still to come on the Home Depot halftime report. Stanford ball. And over the top into the backcourt here for Bonnie Samuelson.
Shot clock here. You got to go.
Down to 3. Still behind. Ogwumike will launch a long 3. And the rebound coming out into the bench. And back over it goes with 49.2 seconds to go. So Baylor up 2. Reiner leading with 7. Not a gigantic half, obviously. Hayden with 6.
Well, you see they're trying to deploy Nneka in areas that she doesn't consistently spend time, and her field goals reflect that. She's 3 for 9 because you can't post Nneka like you normally would.
No 10-second backcourt violation in women's basketball. 5 on the shot clock, though. Sims muscles it up. It won't drop. Battling for the rebound. She won it back. And it's a shot clock violation. So 18.2 left. Stanford with the ball. A chance to tie or take the lead before halftime. Tinkle comes back on, an excellent 3-point threat. She replaces Samuelson.
Wow, some little extracurricular between Kokenis and Sims.
Ogwumike knocked from behind by Condra, comes free right to Chiney. Ogwumike up against Grinder, decides not to do anything with it. Orange will heave it, and it won't go at the buzzer. So Baylor has the lead at the break, 25-23. You saw Chiney Ogwumike do what so many have done against Brittany Griner, go the other way. Let's go to Rebecca Lobo.
Brittany, you've been swarmed on the offensive end. How concerned are you that you only have 5 shots?
I mean, we're getting, the shots that we want to get. We just got to knock them down. We got to get in the paint. We got to knock down shots. We got to knock down free throws. Then we got to defend on the defensive end. Defensively,
they pulled you out onto the perimeter. How comfortable are you defending out there?
I mean, I have no problem with guarding out on the perimeter, but the only thing is I'm leaving the paint open.
All right, Brittany, thank you. Send it over to Holly Rowe.
Well, Nneka, you said you were excited for the chance to try against Brittany Griner. How do you think that first half went?
I think it went well. I think what we need to focus on mostly is our offense. We did a good job of holding to, I think, 7 points. And, we're doubling her hard, and we're still sticking with our defensive plan, but we need to kick it up on offense.
How is the altitude affecting you at this point?
It hit me for the first 3 minutes, but I'm fine now. It's the Final Four, so.
Thanks, Nneka.
Thank you.
Only a Stanford kid would know exactly how many points Brittany Griner has at halftime. 7 points. I don't know how she knew that. No one gave her a stat sheet. Baylor leads it 25-23. Griner indeed with 7. A second half to come to see who faces Notre Dame Tuesday night in the national championship game. Now to Trey Wingo for the Home Depot halftime report.
All right, Dave O'Brien, thanks so much. Welcome indeed to the Home Depot halftime report inside the Pepsi Center. Trey Wingo here with Carol Lawson and the coach, Carolyn Peck. Well, you look at this half, Tara Vanderveer talked about her bench, Carolyn, and how they were going to have to defend Brittany Griner. Bonnie Samuelson, the 6'3 freshman, before this game had played a grand total of 8 minutes and scored 2 points. She has 5 points in the first half and a lot of minutes. They are throwing everything they can at Brittany Griner.
Well, when Tara talked about keeping a secret, that was a big secret she kept all season long. But I think the most impressive thing that Stanford did was the way that they denied the ball even coming inside to Brittany Griner. They kept one in front and one behind. Well, first they're going to look at how patient they were offensively, and I think that that's been key of what Stanford's What they wanted to do was move Griner away and not have to score over her. You go bring Brittany away from the basket, pull her out of the lane, and then you take shots away from Brittany Griner.
You know, I think when you talk about what Stanford cannot do, and I thought they flustered Baylor defensively, particularly in the half court, but they cannot turn the basketball over. Baylor did not have a rhythm offensively, but what allowed them to get to lead is the turnovers. You say, well, Stanford only has 4 turnovers in the first half. Baylor has 8 points off of those turnovers. If you're going to slow the game down, if you're going to limit possessions, then you can't have giveaways like this. And I thought that gave Baylor some confidence, even though nothing was going right for them on the offensive end. Defensively, they kept Stanford offensively in check, and then they were able to get a few of these freebies, and they made Stanford pay. And we talked about Odyssey Sims and her ball pressure off the top, and they did a good job of doing that late to create some scoring opportunities.
It was Odyssey Sims' offense in the regional final that really kick-started Baylor when things were slow for Brittany inside, when they were sagging in on her, and now it's her defense that really has Baylor up by 2 at the half of the second national semifinal game. When we continue on the Home Depot halftime report, Muffet McGraw, head coach of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, will join us to talk about one of the greatest games we've seen in a long time here. The Fighting Irish survive an overtime scare and move into the championship game for the 2nd straight year. That's ahead on the Home Depot halftime report.
Welcome back to the Home Depot halftime report.
Home Depot halftime report rolls on here inside the Pepsi Center. Trey Cara and our coach, Carolyn Peck. Delighted to be joined by the head coach of the Fighting Irish, Muffet McGraw, who has her team into the national championship game for the 2nd straight year. Muffet, congratulations.
Thanks, Trey.
It was one of the better games we've seen in a long time. Let's take a look at the game, and especially how it ended in regulation, the first overtime national semifinal we've had since 1997. Gino Auriemma and company trying to see if they could even the score with Notre Dame, and here it is down the stretch. A giveaway by the Irish and Kelly Ferris with a putback. And you had to think we had this thing won, and suddenly everything sort of went haywire at the end.
That's exactly what I thought. We had some bad turnovers. We gave it up so many times for layups. They made the free throws. Kelly Ferris came up big for UConn in that stretch.
Big hustle plays there, the 2 free throws to give the lead. And how about Natalie Novosel here to force OT?
Amazing shot. She was there for the rebounds. I wanted Sky to attack the basket, and she was there for the finish.
And then Tiffany Hayes passes on the shot. They don't get it off. We go to overtime. Rhea Hartley comes up with 1 big 3, and then how about Brittany Mallory?
What can you say about Brittany? She has struggled a bit from the three-point line. I couldn't be happier for somebody to be the game winner.
83-75. And Carrie, you said it best. Brittany Mallory really was the player of the game here for the Irish.
I thought she was, even before she hit those shots. I mean, you deployed her, bringing the basketball up the court, took Skylar Diggins off, and then defensively, which I think is an underrated part of Mallory's game, just her impact and the seniors' impact on your team.
She's the defensive stopper. She had to guard Lewis. She's going to guard the other team's best player. Was able to shut them down a little bit. I thought did a fabulous job. Helped Sky take a little pressure off, bringing the ball up the floor, gave her a rest when we didn't want to take her out of the game. But our senior leadership, the poise and the maturity to give the game away in regulation and come and get it back.
But your junior point guard made great decisions down the stretch. And my question is, she ran from one end of the court to the other to you. She yelled something at you and you yelled something back. I want to know what that conversation was.
Yeah, that was between the two of us. That was something that we're just so happy. I love Skylar. She does so many great things for us.
Well, you're back in the championship game for a 2nd straight year. Do you think at all about the parallels that happened the last time you had a national championship? It was the last time you guys were a #1 seed. You had to beat UConn in the semifinals to get there. This same path is happening again.
It really is, and we went through Denver that year to get to the Final Four in St. Louis, so we're hoping good karma.
What was it like? Did you feel the altitude was at all affected? It seems at times in the first half here and also in the first game, both teams were really affected by it.
Yeah, I was fine on the sideline. I didn't think it affected me at all.
Yeah, you were doing your crouching as you always do. You were very consistent.
We were screaming for water at every time out, really trying to keep them hydrated. That was the only thing we could do.
Right. This is a pretty good game we got going on here, 2-point game at the half. Do you care who you play one way or the other?
You know, you get to this point, you're just so happy you're still playing, but both teams great post games. I don't know how we're going to match up.
Well, you found a way against UConn in one of the best games we've seen in a while. I'm sure you'll find a way to get something done. Muffet, we really appreciate it. Congratulations.
Thanks, Trey.
We will see you on Tuesday night.
Sounds good.
Muffet is going on to the national championship game. The Huskies fell 1 half short of making it there. And after the game, Gino Auriemma admitting he made some mistakes in that second half.
I made a huge mistake
of taking Kia Stokes out of the game at that point. We went with 5 guards so that we could switch all their screens. And in the end, a defensive rebound would have won it for us. That's the part I'm going home with.
Well, never easy when you have an emotional game like that. UConn Huskies season is done. Notre Dame moves on. Who will meet on to join the Irish in the national championship?
This halftime report is built by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. This halftime report is built by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
Well, at halftime here at the Pepsi Center, they honored former U.S. Olympic basketball coaches Gino Auriemma, this year's head coach, and obviously there is Pat Summitt from Tennessee, a former Olympic head coach. Pat, of course, dealing with everything that goes on with her early onset dementia, and there you see Gino and Mel Fortner and all the coaches that have been Olympic coaches. Now, Brittany Griner, not a member of the U.S. Olympic team yet, but there is one spot left on that roster. Will Brittany Griner get it? Will Brittany Griner and the Baylor Lady Bears move on to the national championship game? They have a 2-point lead over the Stanford Cardinal at the break. Second half coming up. Enjoy it.
We welcome you back to the NCAA Women's Championship presented by Capital One. Nightfall here in Denver, but we're ready for the second half. At the break, Baylor leads 25-23 over Stanford. Doris Burke and Dave O'Brien with it. Brittany Griner with an un-Griner-like first half in many ways, Doris, because she didn't score all that much. She's been averaging about 15 shots a game all season. She took 5 in the first half.
And the game plan on the offensive end for Stanford took her away from her strengths, which is her shot blocking ability. At 6'8", she covers great ground with her athleticism and mobility, but they lift her on the defensive end, and that allows no backdoor help. It takes the shot blocking ability right out of the way. And Chiney Agwumike connecting with her sister Nneka. What a job Chiney did passing the basketball.
Yeah, she had 4 assists. Griner was 7 points, but averaging 24. Agwumike was 7 points, her tournament average at 28. The other oddity, Griner did not block a shot in the first half. This is a player who had 199 of them during the season.
This is almost as much about approach and toughness and energy right now for Baylor as it is anything else. And if you're Brittany Griner and you're being forced to guard on the perimeter, wow, how about that play?
Oh, Agwumike went right at her.
How about that play? There's the athleticism and speed. You know, even if she's checking from the perimeter, it doesn't mean you stop defending because you're not changing the game with block shots. Too many times her hand has been down.
So tied at 25 in the opening seconds of half number 2. As we look for the second entrance in the national championship game. Madden in close, can't connect, rebound by Agwumike.
The real test here for Baylor is what have they devised on the offensive end, either to get better shots for Brittany Griner and more touches certainly, or to at least make the players around her more comfortable in the opportunities they're getting.
I was fascinated, though, a little backdoor here for Kokenis. And here's Tinkle launching a 3. That's up and over the top of the backboard. Then in one of Holly Rowe's reports, she indicated that Kim Mulkey was saying, you know, it's not that big a deal that she's not swinging, at least not yet.
Well, and one of our colleagues, Brenda Van Langen, is in charge of the telestrations, is the Big 12 announcer, and she had about 8 Baylor games. But she said there are times where you've got to remind the teammates around Brittany that number 42 is on your team. She plays with you, and you better get her a touch.
Again, they're daring Baylor to shoot from outside. Griner is short, no foul there, nothing on the elbow. So Stanford trying to take the lead. The Cardinal has lost just once all season long. That was early in the season in November on the road against Connecticut.
Now she's a little bit hesitant at Agwumike from 3.
She'll drive it on Griner, who commits the foul. That'll be number 2 on Brittany. as we toss it to Holly.
Well, I checked in with both coaches at the half. Kim Mulkey of Baylor said, of course, she's concerned Brittany Griner had 2 field goals, but she said she's getting double, triple team. She said they're leaving other players open, but they're taking too quick of shots. We've got to continue to reverse the ball, make Stanford's defense move and work. Then Tara Vanderveer said, hey, I think our 54 defense looks pretty darn good right now. Madden of Baylor is just 2 for 8, the player that they've been leaving open. She said the problem, we've got to do a better job on offense. It's definitely different playing against a player like Griner, but we've had some ideas at halftime. We're going to make a few adjustments, and Nneka Ogwumike is doing just that.
Well, that's the interesting thing. Now you see Ogwumike trying to elude her with her driving ability. They were moving her to spots on the floor away on the perimeter, and though she's capable, that's not her comfort zone. That's not her bread and butter.
Condrey drops one in, and she's been the #1 dare for Stanford tonight, but finally hits one. Tied at 27. Shanae Ogwumike on the high post. She loves that bounce pass, but there's a whistle and a foul.
It's going to be a hole. It's going to be on Destiny Williams. And Nneka Ogwumike has got a ticker that will not stop. She will not go away, and she's going to work relentlessly for post position. And that's why you commit that foul.
And she's battled a bruised knee throughout the tournament, although she's had a superb season. So Williams with the foul, 17:46 to go. And Bonnie Samuelson, the freshman, trying to get it in. Kokenis on the drive. Ogwumike swooping in. No. Williams with the rebound.
That's a significant change, right? I mean, we've seen that Nneka Ogwumike use her driving ability, try to get right at Brittany Griner or right by her.
Griner, an entry pass. That's a little bit more like the Baylor attack we're used to seeing. She just couldn't convert.
Well, sometimes, right, when you don't touch it a lot, and then you do get a touch, you're so anxious to produce. It maybe you move a little bit faster, you shoot a little bit faster.
Ogwumike up against Griner with a nifty bank shot.
4 straight times. There's the adjustment. That's what Tara was talking about to Holly Rowe. We've come up with some things on the offensive end. Well, Nneka Ogwumike is attacking with her driving ability.
Serious Player of the Year candidate up against the Player of the Year.
Yeah, I don't think she's seen an athlete in the post like Nneka.
Condrey starting to heat up a little bit, ties it at 29. The shooting percentages on both sides could use it. Stanford 35%, Baylor 32%. And there's Orange on target.
Well, and I think that Condrey will get the minutes. And basically, Madden is not making shots. She was 2 for 8, so Condrey gets her chance.
Sims pops, left it way short, but got it back. Up it goes again for 2. Odyssey Sims, the sophomore from Irving, Texas.
And though Condrey's numbers don't reflect it, Dave, she has, at points this season, made big shots for the team. And the ones she's hit today are big.
A little scuffle there between Kokenis and Condrey. And that was off the leg and out of play. So it'll be Stanford ball. Tied at 31. Tara Vanderveer, the Hall of Famer. She had something special for Baylor cooked up tonight, even though they hadn't seen them all year. But you got the impression she liked the idea. There was a surprise factor at play here. She did not schedule them during the regular season. UConn did, Notre Dame did. Ogwumike harassed. That's done a lot of trouble up against Griner.
That's a bad decision right there.
Williams. And a foul by Nneka Ogwumike. She commits the personal. Tied at 31. That'll be her second foul. 15:49 to go in our second semifinal. Stanford tied at 31 in our second national semifinal. Let's go to Rebecca.
Well, guys, Stanford has done a terrific job of involving Brittany Griner in the screen and roll, the other way to get her away from the basket. And they get Nneka Ogwumike involved. When you set the screen, Brittany Griner has to help on the ball handler. When they do, taking it right to the basket to the other side of the rim. Nneka Ogwumike came into the second half with only 1 foul. That means offensively she can play with reckless abandon. She can take it at the basket. Brittney Griner went into halftime with Kim Mulkey making adjustments. With her having to defend on the perimeter now, she has to get down, low in the stance again, and be ready for the offensive drive.
Now the star comparison, strength on strength in the post. Obviously the advantage right now to Nneka Ogwumike, and that screen and roll is a change for the Stanford Cardinal. As your personnel changes, Dave, your coaching must change. Your strategy must change. Tara Vanderveer has at her disposal 2 dynamic athletes in the front court. Speed with Orange and Kokenis in the backcourt. So these screen and rolls are sprinkled in to what has become, a triangle-heavy Stanford team in the past to one that's sprinkling in different things. So great adjustments by the Hall of Famer.
Destiny Williams makes 1 of 2. Baylor with a 1-point advantage. Baylor continues to press in the backcourt. Chiney Ogwumike off to Orange. Here's the jumper by Samuelson. That won't drop, but the rebound high to Kokenis. Samuelson won't wait, but she's actually on the line in the act of shooting now.
And they are hot. Tara Vanderveer disagrees with that call.
In the Frozen Four's second game Thursday night, BC and Minnesota meet in Tampa at 8 Eastern on ESPN2, ESPN3, and streaming live on WatchESPN.com and the Watch ESPN app. Brittney Griner has not scored in about 12 minutes.
When's the last time she touched it? She had the miss here in the last couple of minutes.
Well, she actually touched the ball just 9 of Baylor's first 28 possessions in the first half. That's the fewest she's had since the first half of their first tournament game, and she only played a handful of minutes.
You've got a source.
Condrey, yes. Well, they've been needing her, and she's delivering in the second half.
Absolutely, and Madden's been on the bench because she struggled shooting it. And Condrey, it's so interesting, what a quiet kid by demeanor. But again, over the course of the season and her career, there have been moments where she has made big shots.
Orange trying to penetrate around Sims. That doesn't happen very often. A kick out, Kokenis a 3. Baylor comes away, and you feel a little momentum starting to swing now to the Lady Bears. Hayden lines it up. Barely nicked the iron.
Too quick, terrible shot. I mean, you don't manage a national semifinal that way.
Oh, it opens up Kokenis. They're going to wave it off, no basket.
Oh, they're going to get an illegal screen?
Yes, that's the call.
There's no doubt in Lisa Mattingly's mind about the call.
So no basket. That's on Chiney Ogwumike, her second foul. Well, moving to get in front of Griner.
Well, to me, I think she probably could have sold it a little bit more like she was looking to post up.
Griner gets the bounce pass. In close, draws the foul. She'll be to the line. Her last basket, by the way, came at 9:09 of the first half. And yet Baylor leads by 3, and she's at the line. Let's check in with Holly Rowe.
Well, one of the things that Brittney Griner is so good at is getting to the basket and continuation when she's got players draped all over her, fouling her. I was at a Baylor practice this year, and Kim Mulkey lets their men's practice players foul Brittney at will. She was out there yelling, "Foul her! Foul her!" She wants Brittney to absorb all the contact she can during practice so that it doesn't phase her during games. And Brittney said, "Hey, I'm used to it. It doesn't bother me anymore."
Well, she has great patience because this young woman takes an absolute pounding on a night-by-night basis. And the patience she has shown is extraordinary.
That, by the way, was foul number 3 on Chiney Ogwumike. So she goes to the bench with 14 minutes left in the game. Kokenis appeared to shove off, but no foul there. Sims really sold it, but no one buying. Ogwumike with a tough drive and draws the foul. Did they get Griner again? Indeed they did. Number 3 on Brittney Griner. She went for the block. She picks up the personal. And Kim Mulkey, they got to push her back. They have warned her. The officials have warned Mulkey to back up.
Well, Brittney Griner is looking at her right wrist. She is, I think there's blood on her right wrist. So if the officials catch this here, they're going to have to stop play. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a whistle here. Yeah, in fact, she's got to go because she's bleeding.
So Griner to get some medical attention. Her dad, Raymond, in the crowd, keeping a close watch on his unanimous first-team All-American.
I can tell you, Mama disagreed with that call. Mom just looked at her and said, there's no way that was a foul on my daughter. Look at the body. This is probably where the officials call it. And good offensive players, to me, they like contact. They seek it, they pursue it, because when you're going to the rim, you're thinking, I don't want 2 points, I want 3.
In and out on the second one by Nneka Ogwumike. Ogwumike, the #2 all-time scorer at Stanford. She's had a spectacular career, but will it continue beyond tonight? Williams got a great look. Tinkle tipped it into the corner and controlled by Baylor. Sims slashing in off to Madden, airborne, a foul too, and she'll go to the line.
Boy, oh boy, there was some doubt in her mind when she left her feet. But you're athletic enough at 6 feet to make an adjustment. The pass is pretty. It's a little dump down. Look at that. She left her feet before being absolutely certain that the shot was the thing she wanted to do.
Madden, they don't count on her for a lot of scoring, just 4 points a game. She's Baylor's leading defender under 6'8". Outstanding defensively. The junior from Arkansas.
You need those kids to buy into their roles. And Madden has bought into a long-rangey defensive player.
Good passer.
Yeah, very good. As good as Griner and Sims are, it takes 5 to win a national championship. We saw that with the Irish.
Big time screen set there. Sims went down. She went down hard. She really had her bell rung.
No argument whatsoever from Tara Vanderveer. In fact, she just looks at Nneka Ogwumike and had something to say.
That's 3 on Nneka.
Yeah, you can't lean. It is not the screener's job to deliver the contact. That ball handler has got to rub that defender off.
And down the lane, banks it in. Well, this is the biggest lead tonight. We'll see if Stanford takes a timeout.
You need Chiney Ogwumike because you're not scoring the ball, and you count on Chiney and Nneka so much.
RG3 delighted with the run by Baylor. 8 points, their biggest tonight. Baylor opens up an 8-point lead, 40-32 over Stanford in the national semifinal. Let's toss it to Rebecca.
Well, Dave, a dominant post player needs guards around her who can score because she will draw the double team. Stanford's defense has not changed in the second half from the first half. Griner is still surrounded. The difference for Baylor, their guards, primarily Taryn Condrey, have been able to hit. Condrey 3 for 3 in this half. We'll see if that alleviates any of the pressure on Griner inside.
So Brittany Griner with 8 points. But Condrey has been the shooting story in the second half.
She averages 3.7 shots per game on the season. She's 3 for 6. And the biggest thing she's done, she hasn't hesitated for a moment. You gotta shoot it with confidence. You gotta believe it's going in.
Well, Baylor's starting to believe they're on an 11-1 run. A whistle off the ball with 12:50 to go. Let's check in with Holly Rowe.
Well, Rebecca, to your point about the shooters surrounding Brittany Griner, when she was a freshman, Kim Mulkey knew she had a very unique player. So she sought out some help from former NBA coaches who had coached unique big people. She said the advice that she received was to surround her with shooters. That makes defenses play more honest on her. Kim has done that in her 3 years. The shooters around Brittany have continued to improve, and you're seeing that help their big girl tonight.
Destiny Williams just picked up foul number 2. Nneka Ogwumike, her sister, rolling to the basket, tied up with Williams. And Nneka nearly lost it. Shot clock at 7. Orange back to Chiney. Griner there with the rebound. She has 7. Baylor is starting to take a hold of this basketball game as they have 38 before. Nobody has ever gone 40-0 in the history of college basketball, men or women's. And there's Griner for 2.
Just a terrific read. The double came from the high side. She is very confident turning over that particular shoulder. And her release point is so high. You've got no chance as a defender.
Nneka Ogwumike with a three, and Ogwumike off target there, rebounded away by Williams. And another shot that won't fall for Stanford. His shooting percentage is 32. Baylor not a whole lot better, but they have a 10-point lead.
I think it feels to me like we've seen moments in each of these games where these kids have been tired.
By Chiney Ogwumike. She'll beat everybody to the other end for two.
They needed that.
Just 4 points so far for Chiney, the younger of the two Ogwumike sisters. He's a sophomore. Williams went for the fake and committed a travel. We have a timeout. When we come back, Holly talks with Kim Mulkey. 10:57 to go.
A player who is, along with Nneka, your best rebounder, over 10 per game and 16 points per game. So this is a huge miss in their rebounding and scoring departments.
Williams handing off for Odyssey Sims. She'll run the point now for Kim Mulkey. Condrey will lift another. Not this time. And a foul there with 9:12 to go. Samuelson trying to hold off her Baylor opponent, commits the personal.
Yeah, good pursuit of the ball by Condrey.
17th foul, so it's 1-and-1 time with 9:12 left. It'll be Condrey to the line. The senior from Alabama. And a 66% foul shooter. And she drops in the first one. Give her 10 points. That's 6 over her season average.
You know, you've got a senior here that's willing to say, okay, I'll come off the bench. I'll be the stopper off the bench. I'm going to do whatever it takes for our team to win. And not open her mouth in complaint that she's not in the starting lineup. Baylor fans will appreciate that.
Baylor shooting for something special. Yes, the national championship. With a win tonight, they're 39-0. If they win the national championship then on Tuesday, and it'd have to beat Notre Dame to do that. Notre Dame is already in after knocking off Connecticut in overtime. They would be the first team in the history of college basketball, men's or women's, to go 40-0. Orange able to handle the ball, but blocked by, guess who? Griner. Sims racing all the way through. Hayden stabs it. Back out for Condrey. 10-point lead for the Lady Bears.
You need to give this team some credit. You're missing shots. You didn't play well. Baylor looks like they've got a great game plan. They never got shaken up. And this woman, big time.
Condrey with another bucket. She has 13. Timeout. 8:21 to go. Baylor opens up a 12-point advantage over Stanford.
This is a team that never rattles, and 6'8" Brittany Griner has done this as well as anyone and will finish as the NCAA's all-time block leaders as long as she stays healthy. They're spacing the floor. Outstanding pass from Destiny Williams. Condrey's hand has been all over this basketball game.
Griner averaging 5 blocks per game. Nneka and Chiney Ogwumike. Right now, Chiney is in trouble, but you see what they've done in the tournament tonight. Different story against Baylor.
Yeah, and you have to come back with Chiney Ogwumike, and she comes back onto the floor after that timeout because, listen, you go down with your guns blazing.
So not a long set for the sophomore, as Tara Vanderveer has to get her right back in. It's a 17-3 run for Baylor. Nneka Ogwumike telling her sister to get down low. On the move, up against Griner. Denied. Got it back. Up again for 2.
See what I mean about her motor? And she simply is one of the most competitive people that Tara Vanderveer has ever coached. She will not go away. They might lose, Dave, but not because she stopped playing.
Stanford's #2 all-time scorer, #3 all-time rebounder. The back down by Williams, and a foul. She really wanted that basket.
I believe that's Chene, and she'll be done.
7:39 remaining. Indeed, that's 5 on Chene Ogwumike.
The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by the Capital One Cup. Learn more and check the standings at CapitalOneCup.com.
Have to dominate in the paint. This year is special because we have a chance to make history. We want to show the nation that we can go 40-0.
Trying to win a first championship. Look at how the AP Players of the Year compare, particularly this in wingspan, vertical reach, and shoe size.
Incredible.
And blocks, obviously, and Anthony Davis spectacular, playing Kentucky into the national championship game. Brittany Griner's trying to do the same thing Tuesday night against Notre Dame.
I'd say Anthony Davis has a few more guard skills at his disposal than Brittany, but equally dominant.
Well, our trending topic, as we take a look at that on Twitter, is Brittany Griner the best center to ever play the game?
Well, I certainly think her legacy is incomplete, but to me, of the players that I have seen over the course of history on the collegiate level, she's as dominant as anyone I have seen. Tara Vanderveer likened her to Lisa Leslie. I wouldn't have minded seeing a 5-0 play against Brittany Griner.
Rebecca Lobo?
Yeah.
Rebecca, what were your thoughts on this? Is she the best ever?
Well, first of all, I would have minded seeing me play against Brittany Griner. She's the best I've ever seen, Doris. I mean, have we ever seen a player this size, this athletic ability, dominate the way she has, especially defensively? I mean, even when you look at what Stanford has done tonight, Griner only 1 block, but they've changed the way they play offensively because Brittany Griner is in the game. I've never seen anything quite like it.
Listen, as a staff, Kim Mulkey has said, I don't watch tape of my opponent the same way I would if I didn't have Brittany Griner. What opponents do against one another is not what they will do against Baylor. And the other part of that equation is you've got to game plan for both ends if you're opposite Brittany Griner. Her impact has just been extraordinary, and sometimes it's hard to document or quantify outside of the blocks and the reach and all of those things.
Nneka Ogwumike with 18, 47-38, Baylor. Griner draws the double and triple team. Sims, airborne, left it well short. Williams with the rebound, a block by Tinkle, another block attempt and a foul this time. Under 7 minutes to go in a low-scoring national semifinal. Booth will pick up the foul. It'll be number 1 on Sarah Booth. And Destiny Williams is at the line. All Big 12 first team, the 6'1" junior from Benton Harbor, Michigan. She actually leads the Baylor team in double-digit rebounding games with 18.
Well, she is an outstanding offensive rebounder, and clearly her ability to do that is incrementally impacted based on the number of defenders sent in Brittany Griner's direction. A little bit easier when 3 defenders are going around Brittany Griner.
And it probably helps the shooting percentage too, which is 55%. But she has 9 rebounds in this game. So a 10-point lead again for the Lady Bears. And now a steal out at midcourt by Williams. Went to the other side. Ogwumike really forced her to do that, and she could not convert.
Love it. Love how hard Nneka retreated to go ahead and get that. She made the mistake because she did not meet the basketball. But you don't stop playing.
Here's Kokenis up and in for 2. Tony Kokenis, the sophomore out of Oak Brook, Illinois, really enjoying a solid tournament.
This is a manageable deficit. If you're Baylor, you've got to continue to put points on the board. Don't waste possessions here.
Story of the second half has been Taryn Condry. She has 10 points since the break. Booth really leaning on Griner, and that foul will go against Sarah Booth down low. Well, don't forget to tune in to ESPN Tuesday night, 7:30 Eastern, for our NCAA Women's Championship special presented by Capital One, followed by the game. For live stats and game recaps for all rounds of every championship, go to NCAA.com. So Griner will be at the line in this tournament, averaging 24 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 blocks a game. And rolls in the first one. A much improved touch at the foul line since her freshman year. Jordan Madden returns now for Kim Mulkey. And we'll put Condrey on the bench. And number 2 for Griner. Scuffle for the rebound, knocked out of play. It'll go the other way. And be Stanford ball here with 5:53 to go. You're not sensing a lot of urgency out of Stanford. Down by 9.
No, and you know, you'd love a 3 to go just to put a little more game pressure on Baylor. Make them think about it.
Bokennis trying to penetrate. Oh, she saw Griner there, nearly traveled. Booth lets fly no. And a foul underneath as Orange got fouled with 5:39. And a shove from behind. And that'll go against Odyssey Sims, number 2. Orange, good foul shooter, a very quiet freshman. Chinea Gwumike says that her voice is like a dog whistle. We can hear it even if you can't.
I like that. That's because they're tuned in.
So they're listening for her, however soft her voice may be. Condrey coming back on for Madden.
Well, her season numbers, as I said, below 5. She's been terrific in the NCAA tournament, well above that. But not tonight against one of the premier perimeter defenders in the country in Odyssey Sims.
Well, you just said seconds ago that this is a winnable game for Stanford. Low scoring, neither team shooting it well, but if they can force turnovers like that, they're very much alive. Bokennis wants to attack up against Hayden, can't convert, and Griner came back down to pluck away the rebound. Big miss for Stanford.
Yeah, they're missing shots tonight that I think they normally make. Nneka a couple, Toni Kokenis a couple, that's for sure.
Baylor wants a timeout. Kim Mulkey takes one with 5:11 to go. 32nd timeout.
I like the aggressive, assertive move by Toni Kokenis. You really could have put some great game pressure. She crossed over and then got back to get her shoulder square. Just, you know, your speed is impacting your ability to make the play at the rim. You got to be better than that.
Well, they're just 2 for 17 from three-point land, too, so they're not helping themselves beyond the arc. And have scored only 41 points. They're one of the high-scoring teams in America this year, up around 78, 79 points a game.
Yeah, and you know, I think it's the little things, and I say you have to be better than that. The turnover where Nneka doesn't meet the ball. Tara was talking to her team an awful lot today about the details, the devil in the details, right? Meet the ball, finish plays.
Well, if Stanford loses here to Baylor, they will have lost just twice all season. Once in November, and then on the 1st of April. Their 5th consecutive Final Four, but Nneka Ogwumike has not won a national championship. And her career might be coming to an end here tonight with 5:11 to go, trailing by 8. So Baylor to inbound from the side. Odyssey Sims, an AP All-American, off to Condrey. Destiny Williams slicing in. Nene Hayden, but traveling with it. So that gives it back over to the Cardinal.
They're giving them chances.
And Kim Mulkey senses that. Stanford is still very much in the game if they can make some shots.
Orange just can't get by Sims. I mean, she, as good an athlete as Amber Orange is, and no matter how much, she cannot get by Odyssey Sims.
Bokennis. She's trying to make something happen. Shot clock at 5. Nneka leans in. Griner with the block. Got it back. And tucked in 2.
6-point game.
Now Tara Vanderveer exhorting her team And you know she's saying that. You're in it. You're in it. Baylor without a field goal in over 4 minutes.
Wow.
Foul on Agumake.
That is her 4th personal foul. Watch her on the offensive end, though. The dribble drive against Destiny Williams. Doesn't give up because her shot is blocked. Be persistent. That second jump, this is where she is a difference maker.
So it'll be Williams to the line with 4:11 left. 2 shots for Williams, 67% for the year. So Chiney Agumake is already fouled out. 4 on Nneka Agumake. And little sis can only be a cheerleader the rest of the way. Stanford's only gone to the line 7 times all night. Williams has struggled. She's made only 4 of 9. Got the roll there to make it a 7-point game.
And they're extending pressure. I don't necessarily even think for steals. They're just trying to, they want the clock running, and they want them to be working with less time once they cross over. Look at that 3-point percentage. They thought they have to make some. 2 will not be enough.
Agumake, not a good shot right along the baseline.
Do you get the sense from Stanford that they're as close as ever? I don't get the sense that this team right now believes they can beat Baylor.
I think you're exactly right. They just can't seem to cut in any appreciable way. So it seems like a bigger lead than 7 points, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think that's Brittany Griner. You touched on it. They hadn't faced Brittany yet, and it's a unique thing, and I think you need the experience to know what it is.
So Baylor up by 7, but Stanford has the ball. Orange going underneath Brittany Griner. She'll pull up and pop, in and out. Boy, she got a great look. Could not bury the shot. They just haven't been falling all night. Stanford hitting under 33% of their shots. And now time beginning to become a factor here. And a timeout, Kim Mulkey.
I think it's a good one. I think they need a basket. I think she wants a little bit more separation. She wants to put just a little bit more doubt in Stanford's mind. She knows this is an important possession.
Well, the Final Four has not necessarily been a friendly place for the Stanford Cardinals.
Won't be the last time either. And UConn doesn't. They win by 20.
Connecticut has won the national championship again. Texas A&M has done it again. The Stanford Cardinal in shock. Well, that was certainly the case last year. They had all that pressure from Texas A&M up in their face. They just couldn't handle it.
They have run into the eventual national champion, I believe, 3 straight years now. So been close, but no cigar. 4 years, excuse me, they've run into the eventual national champion.
Well, Stanford trying to come back and play their way into the national championship game. They've won 2 titles under Tara Vanderveer. But Baylor with the ball coming out of the timeout. Let's see what they have in store.
Oh, great play. Little scissor screen for Sims. That's perfect.
A 3-pointer for Odyssey Sims. When you said they needed a basket out of this, they get a 3.
A little zipper screen. She starts on the weak side. 2 defenders or 2 offensive players close up as she cuts through them. That's just perfectly done. Great execution and a perfect timeout.
So was that the dagger, even though there's over 2 minutes remaining? Tinkle again wants no part of Griner. Buchanan, the kick out. Nneka Agumake for 2. Yes.
I think you got to come up. You got to come up and start making some plays here defensively.
Nneka has 22 and 9, so her numbers are certainly in line with a normal night for her. Sims drives it. No one picks her up. She lays it in.
It's winning time, which means it's Odyssey time.
Kind of a quiet night for her. 9 points, but hitting big shots at the end. And Sims and Tinkle got tangled up, and Sims had to hang on.
No, this should be Sims. She pulled her down. Yes, yes, ma'am. That's 0.
Yeah, you watch this. She actually had to hold on and yanked her down.
She was looking to sell it, baby. But Odyssey Sims, Lisa Mattingly wasn't buying it. Watch this. I love that.
Takedown. To go in our second national semifinal. It's Baylor by 10 over Stanford. Now for tonight's Capital One Player of the Game.
It's got to be Taryn Condrey, and probably the least likely suspect. How about her willingness to step up in the second half and make shots? Folks, this is the quietest player on the team. She didn't have a word to say. She just let her game speak volumes on one of the biggest stages under the brightest lights. And there is somebody who can appreciate that kind of performance.
Yes, he knows about big-time efforts. 3 at halftime for Condrey. 13 in the game. Is he going to be number 1, or is it going to be Luck? What do you think?
I think the consensus seems to be Mr. Luck.
There's actually been some question about that. Luck, of course, the great Stanford quarterback. But you wonder if the Colts have been making some noise about maybe not taking Luck overall with that number 1 pick.
Yeah.
Like they hadn't made up their mind yet. Condrey with 13 and has been a shooting star.
Think about Peyton Manning, Ryan Leaf.
Yeah.
Although I don't think either guy would be Ryan Leaf, that's for sure.
Necka off the inbounds, couldn't get it to go. And now just 90 seconds left in this semifinal. Notre Dame won a thriller over Connecticut in the first national semi in overtime. So the Fighting Irish are awaiting the winner of this one. Meanwhile, with a 10-point game, you have to start appreciating the career of Nneka Ogwumike here down the stretch. The great Stanford senior, the All-American, a Pac-12 Player of the Year, National Player of the Year candidate. A brilliant tournament, a brilliant career.
You are looking at a young woman who will be the definitive number 1 pick in the draft. Her numbers are staggering in a program that has turned in some fairly memorable careers. But I think beyond that, you are looking at a young woman, should she choose to go into politics, that could be president of the United States. Stanford University was the perfect place for this young woman.
Does that make Janae the VP?
I would certainly pick her. She's vivacious enough, although Janae would probably more likely embrace the spotlight that politics brings.
And Olivia, the younger sister, may be Secretary of State. Of course, they always are. They have a very famous former Secretary of State right there. And Condoleezza Rice, her team obviously losing, and she's not too happy. Coming up on the 1-minute mark of this semifinal. Tinkle leans in, can't get it. Griner with the rebound.
I do believe Baylor will need to put more than 57 on the board against the Irish to come away as a national champion.
Notre Dame can score in bunches. They're the top scoring team in the Final Four. And now we're about to get down to the final 2.
Now you talk about an interior matchup with Griner and Devereaux Peters. How about Odyssey Sims versus Skylar Diggins?
Sims on the drive. We've got Sports Center coming up next. Oh, Sims is holding that leg in some pain on a drive here in the last 34 seconds. We'll see what's up with Odyssey Sims, the 5'8" senior. And up she goes. Appears to be all right. I think Baylor Nation breathes a sigh of relief that she was able to get up so quickly. Might have been a cramp. So 34.4. Sims, just a sophomore, putting up her own tremendous career at Baylor. An AP All-American this season. Timeout. So let's look ahead now with Baylor obviously heading for the national championship game to take on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish Tuesday night on ESPN.
Well, this is a rematch from a game on November 20th, and you could see the difference in scoring in the first half versus the second half. And the reality is the Irish were able to get shots going back to that matchup. They missed some opportunities in that first half for shots they normally made, some threes. They would have put a little bit more game pressure on Baylor in that particular game. And think about this. Baylor has beaten 4 top 10 teams, but they beat the Irish and they beat Connecticut on their home floor.
What does it mean? That game was very, very early.
Yeah.
I mean, real early in the season, in November. You don't write it off because obviously both sides learned something from it.
Sure.
But what does it really mean?
Well, I mean, obviously you'll evaluate the tape, but you're right. I mean, you know, the course of the season is absolutely so long. You'll take a look at some of the things that were effective, some that weren't. Maybe what you had success at executing, what defenses worked.
Well, for the last time, Nneka Ogwumike is stepping off the floor for Stanford, and hugs from all of her teammates and her little sister. What a great, great career there on the West Coast for the Stanford Cardinal star. She comes up short in a bid for the national championship. She went to the Final Four every year that she was at Stanford. Quite an accomplishment.
Watch how long this embrace is with her sister, Chene. I could cry here because Chene has made no secret of the fact that she has great admiration and respect for Nneka.
Mom took them to play basketball together for the first time when they were, what, 11 or 12 years old? To get them out of the house and do something. Took them both. And she said Nneka really took to it immediately. Chene a couple of days later, but now they're both stars. But the brightest stars tonight are in Baylor colors, because the Lady Bears of Baylor remain undefeated, now 39-0, and they are on to the national championship Tuesday night against Notre Dame. (39-0). No one's ever gone 40-0 in the history of the game. So it's Notre Dame and Baylor. I think a lot of folks probably would have guessed that's the way the national championship would play out. That's Tuesday at 8:30. So Sports Center coming up. We will have interviews from the floor coming up in Sports Center. Notre Dame and Baylor for the national championship on Tuesday night. Plenty more coming up next on Sports Center, along with the latest on the men's championship game tomorrow. So we say goodnight from Denver, Colorado. And right now it's time for Sports Center.